Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC for our semi-final playoff days, as we have had Fnatic Rising beat out XL, and now we got MnM versus Diabolus. MnM 1 point up, and Orcs has been replaced out. I'm joined by Kion in this counter.
Yeah, I had to jump out. I had a small issue at home. I just needed to make sure everything was going all right. If you don't know, I just had a baby, so...
stressful times.
Stressful times.
Sleep-deprived time as well.
Very sleep-deprived this morning. I had to drive in front to London. I had to leave at like 6 AM, sleep-deprived already as it was. But it's all worth it because we are here in the semi-finals of the UKLC. We've worked to this point. MnM are now 1 game away. And the crucial part of this victory, if MnM do get it, is that the EU Masters spot is completely up for grabs at that point. If Diabolus were to win, they've already guaranteed 1 spot. So it'll be who goes to groups and who goes to play-ins. If MnM win, it's Fnatic and MnM in an all-out brawl for that group stage EU Masters spot.
So Fnatic fans are really hoping Diabolus can take this win, but they've got to get 2 wins under the belt, and MnM with a very strong start in game 1, picking up the Cogmore ADC for Monk. I mean, it's something we've seen. It's tried and tested. It's now 4 games and 3 wins here in the UKLC.
I'm sure that, I mean, you probably just ban Cogmore, right? I mean, it's something that Monk is so happy to just go and play in almost any scenario.
I mean, he literally first picked it.
Yeah.
First picked it blue side, just letting it completely counterpicked, and I mean nothing. They got the Lulu, they got the Cogmore. They had a fantastic game there. So want to keep our eye on the MnM draft coming into this next picks and bans, because I feel a lot can be changed up here. I believe they'll be switching sides at this point.
They get side choice.
They get side choice for game 2.
Yes.
Diabolus got game 1 and 3,
yeah.
and then MnM gets side choice for game 2.
So they get the side choice this game.
I assume they'd take red side. Pretty much everyone who's had side selection has taken red side.
Except for Fnatic on the final game last time who took blue side.
Yeah, right. It's because they won on blue side, then let's do it again.
Exactly. So sometimes blue side can be good. But yeah, you're right. So we'll see exactly where they come out in the draft phase with that particular side selection. I'm interested to see. We are going to see red side picks. So
there we go. Yeah. I mean, you get two power picks at the beginning. You get a great pick going into the ban phase 2, and then your like last 2 picks are great as well. Like, it's all around a really nice side to be picking on red side. Obviously, if you do play on the blue side, you get first pick. You can look for 2 power picks in the second pick phase, but arguably red side just gives you
I think
quite a lot.
I think the red side blue side debate comes down to like other picks that are unbelievably powerful if first pick, rather than other situations in game where counter picks are going to be more useful. So yeah, it's kind of swings and roundabouts there. Okay, so we see Zoe banned out, Cogmore banned out, crucially by Diabolus on the blue side here. Orianna, and really targeting Krogson specifically, actually, MnM, with the Orianna and the Vladimir bans.
Well, I mean, you could argue that Vlad could go to
yeah.
top, but it's a strong power pick for Diabolus because Krogson and Curb are capable of playing it. Silas is going to be the final ban here for Diabolus, and curious to see what MnM decide to take away. Do they want to deny the Yorick from Curb? Do they just want to pick the Kayle into the Yorick again? Mummus looked great
Yorick
on
was
that.
definitely an issue for MnM last game. I mean,
yeah.
Whilst they won, it was closer than it would have appeared because of Kerberos specifically just split pushing like a monster.
I mean, Krogson was with him the whole time as well. So final ban's going to be the Braum here by MnM. And curious to see what MnM decide to pick up as their first pick in this game 2.
I mean, Diabolus, if they feel confident for Kerberos having Yorick, could just go Yorick as a first pick, because it did work for Kerberos. He practically kept Diabolus alive by himself in that game. By having that kind of matchup in the top side, and really KL, whilst it was a bit of an issue, Kerberos dealt with it.
Late game, he was holding 2 holes in the ship, in the sinking ship, while the rest of the team just plundered another ship.
The wave clear of KL in late game was just dumb. But something that we didn't mention, Yusa, who is really confident on Lucian. It's a good first pick. Actually, in the XL Fnatic games, we often saw it slip through the draft quite heavily, but Yusa is really keen to get his hands directly on the Lucian. Feels very confident with that, with Hado down in the bot lane, but they won't be able to combo it with the Braum because that's banned. All
right, well, you do see MnM locking that Akali. It was banned away in game 1 from Chibs, and see what they're going to go for next. Are they going to look for Monk? And they are. They're going to take the Kalista, sorry. So another pick that he's been playing, actually, quite a lot here in the UKLC. Not at the best win rate.
Very bad win rate. Kalista has got one of the worst win rates in the UKLC, I think specifically because she's quite difficult to make work. She's not an AD carry that's just about hitting them. You've got to really coordinate with the rest of your team, build stacks, and mid-game spike especially. Like, people say, oh, but she's got great late-game damage because of her stacks, but you take so long to build those stacks up in the late game, it doesn't really matter.
And you have to have a strong laning phase on her as well. If you just lose lane, it feels like she's useless for so long. So it is a champion that requires you to really try and play in that early game as well, as We do see Kerberos pick himself up the Yorick as a blind pick for him, although potentially that Akali could be flexed top or mid.
I'm wondering whether Alistair is the thought for Shogun here. Shogun is a great Alistair player. It works really well with Kalista. It's going to give them a pretty solid front line with a lot of CC, and they probably don't want to lose too many support bans when you have that really nice combo between support and AD carry with the Kalista.
Go Thresh as well.
Yeah, you could obviously go Thresh as well. And you can see Monkeys and Krogs have locked in these champions. That's pretty normal. Kerberos takes the Yorick matchup we thought he might do given the opportunity, and we are imagining that Monkeys will take the Jarvan here.
All right, well, Chip's going to get his hands on Lissandra. It was so key for Monk getting his early picks, but snowballed him on that Lissandra, constantly ulting high priority targets. So once again, just going for a comfort pick, going for a power pick. That does show that Mummus will be playing as Akali versus Kerberos' Yorick in the top laners. We head into ban phase 2. What's left open? We've got to start looking at our supports and most likely our junglers.
Yeah, so I think if you're Diabolus, you're making a decision now whether you want to focus the support pool for Shogun, take away 2 supports that you don't want to see comboed with the Kalista, or you're going to start to put pressure on Nulti. Now, Nulti doesn't have... I would ban Olaf if I were you, if I were Diabolus. I mean, Nulti's very comfortable on Olaf. I think it's a pretty solid ban against Nulti specifically, and it's something that I think he'll probably pick up in most games, but it looks like they are starting to work towards that support bans.
I feel like I would really like to ban away the Galio here.
Yes,
and then just force him onto something like an Alistair and then try to pick us like a strong lane. I'm getting a weird look here.
I'm getting
I feel like Orcs is looking at me through the glass. He's like, you're actually so... He's saying
he's smurfed the draft phase.
Oh, he actually gave me the finger gun, so I am smurfing it.
So he's probably looking to ban, yeah, like you said, the Galio probably comes out, and then maybe you see the Alistair come through for Shogun. We'll have to see.
Or they leave both open and just decide to go for whatever they would rather have. Just say, okay, what happened to Alistair or the Galio? And they do take away the Galio, so looks like I'm taking Orcs' job. I'm coming for you, buddy.
Yeah, I might as well play-by-play this, right?
We don't want to do that to the people at home.
Oh, you colour?
No, yeah, me colour. Sorry. Me colour.
I was going to say, God, I've been doing it for a few weeks now, Jake.
You've already been kicked once today. Let's not do it.
Let's not hit me in the nuts again, but this time emotionally.
All right, well, Skarner's going to get picked up here for Nulti.
Very pick-orientated MnM composition. It's kind of garbage in teamfights, but it's very pick-orientated.
Yeah. This is when it's like the 10,000 IQ play, and Nulti doesn't bind with his support, and he picks the Skarner.
Oh,
and then Skarner
the Skarner machine.
Pikachu, go! Just throws him in.
Skarner thrown in, ults, and then pulls them out.
Yeah, yeah. Can you ult them like a Blitzcrank? So if Skarner jumps in, like flash ult someone, and you pull him in with the Kalista?
I have no idea.
Does the Fates
I'm sure
break
it breaks. I'm sure it must break the ultimate. Orcs is now thinking in his mind, but I'm pretty sure it breaks the ultimate.
I'm getting through the glass from production. I'm getting a few looks. That's one from Orcs, and I'm also getting a thumbs up from Doctor, but he's actually been wrong quite a lot this tournament.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna go with him. That's an Alistair and a Zillion pickup here, by the way.
Alistair and a Zillion. Okay, so that is going to be Zillion mid lane against the Akali. That's a really rough matchup. Sorry, against the Lissandra, that's very true. I was going to say, if it's versus the Akali, it's a rough matchup for the Akali. But yeah, it's going to be Akali in the top lane. Lissandra, I can envision just trying to keep the range. Lissandra's a fairly short-range mage, but you can engage onto Zillion very easily. And as long as he can double bomb where you're going to end with the claw, you can actually predict it. But actually,
oh, baby. Once again, Shogun on the Lulu duty, making sure Monk can carry.
Maybe we actually see Nulti bond with the...
Like, I would imagine if they do that. I would love that. That, or you go for chips and just throw chips in.
Problem is, you kind of hamper your laning phase a little bit.
Oh yeah, like it would be super troll, but it'd be great. It'd be really exciting.
So let's talk a little bit about these compositions. You've got Diabolus, where you're obviously going to have Kerberos splitting for the majority of the game on Yorick. That's pretty much what he did last game. We're expecting the similar kind of game plan this time round. Croxon's Zillion adds a little bit of spice to the mix.
Maybe the resurrection. My question is, how much damage does it add, though? Because you've got the Zillion who, all his damage is front-loaded onto his Q. Outside of that, he has a res and a speed up. That's all he offers.
Yeah.
You've got a Lucian who has a very, very potent mid-game. And with the Zillion backing him up, there's a lot of damage you can put out there.
You can speed user up in teamfights, and suddenly, you're looking at a very monstrous mid-game team fighter. But again,
But if he gets locked down by the Lissandra, if he gets interrupted by the Lulu, Polymorph, and Wild Growth, do they actually have the damage is my question.
They need to, I think they need to, again, snowball from the lane here. And I think Monk and Shogun have looked pretty solid. Apart from that double kill that happened early on around the turret in the first game, like Monk and Shogun haven't given away too much.
Yeah.
The problem is when you pick the composition like this, the real win conditions are activated mostly by Kerberos in the top lane. Like, you're mostly going to get work done from him split pushing. Other than that, you've got a really strong mid game. Now, Zilean is great, but like you said, front-loaded Q damage. So you really have to get the perfect setup with the bombs. We're going to jump on to the Rift, though.
Yeah, for our game number 2 of this second semi-final of the UKLC. MnM, if they can pull this wing out of the bag, they put themselves into the finals versus Fnatic Rising, proving that marbles are right.
Oh yeah, I
and
know.
better at predicting than a lot of our Twitter analysts.
That would be insane if the marbles got the entire thing right, and that would really just be adding to the power of the marbles. We have got a vote up on Twitch chat, hashtag DBL, hashtag MnM. We'll see who comes out on top. Most people have tended to favour the team that won the first game, which didn't really work in the
oh,
the
there it
game.
is. Just filling that battery.
100% MnM right now. Poor Diabolus.
There we go. Diabolus fans are starting to come back. I mean, if the marbles are right, I'm going to lose my marbles. I mean, we already have lost our marbles. Orcs kicked them into oblivion.
Yes, yeah. Well, Orcs has become sort of made a habit of just breaking things.
As long as it doesn't start breaking like cameras and stuff.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't break anything actually expensive or worthwhile, then we're fine.
Well,
Orcs has said he's coming to me to break me next.
Well, he attempted it.
He attempted to break me. Luckily, I'm like Wolverine. I've got steel-plated organs. Steel-plated bones, I suppose, but we're going to say organs just for the sake of consistency.
I mean, you went down.
I went down.
I thought you were faking it until I saw how red your face was on the floor. I was like, oh, that actually happened. And then I saw the replay and I was like, oh, that was a knee as well. That wasn't even a foot.
Right into the old, yeah, pretty rough. But we're moving past that with it. We're moving past our lives. That's part of our lives now. We're going to move on to this game between Diabolus and MnM. And you can see Chibs gets zoned a little bit. Remember, shorter range mage is Lissandra, so in the laning phase, you do have to be a little bit worried about that double bomb potential coming out from Krogson. The best way for you to respond to, Zilean, if you're Lissandra, is finding an all-in, and you can't really do that without the support of your jungler or post-6.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a rougher start here for Chibs, but Curb also being shoved in by Mummus in the top lane. Should be able to neutralize some of this lead that Mummus was able to get from that shove, but little by little, if Mummus can continue to force Kerberos into an awkward position, as Monk has actually stole away the red buff there. Nolty didn't step forward, but might just find him here. They're closing that gap. The flag and drag comes through, and Monkeys makes a grand escape. Really nice play from Monkeys there, and again, Nolty caught unawares. Not the first time he's been caught unawares in the jungle with the pathing coming out from the likes of Monkeys. Bot lane's been doing pretty well in favor of Monk and Shogun. They've managed to push in very early on, and because that top side focus from Monkeys, they're going to be fairly uncontested in their shove. And I think it comes from what Orcs was talking about in the last game as well, where you've got the double range into the melee support, especially a champion like Alistair, who just doesn't exist until level 2.
Yeah, and even post level 2, if you're getting zoned out by a Lulu, it is difficult sometimes to find that engage, and obviously the polymorph still exists for Lulu. So when they do engage, there's still the polymorph that you have to worry about.
So MnM pretty content just to farm early up here. Want to work towards that Blade the Ruin King on Monk. There's Nolty sniffing around the mid lane. Krogson is pushing up quite aggressively here, but Predator Boots have been finished here. The claw comes in. Chibs goes for the root, locks him down, puts a bomb on top of himself, flashes in, gets stunned up. Can they get the damage off? Looks like they can't as Chibs flashes in for first blood. Now Monkeys comes in, the flag, the drag, the knock up, the frozen thrall will not save his life, and it's a 1-for-1 mid. Yeah, Monkeys was in a good position there, but Chibs did pick up that kill. And the thumbs up coming from the dude. Teleport comes back. And that was a nice play. What I really like about the way that Nolty and Chibs played that is they really waited for that bomb to expire before committing hard. They knew as soon as they stunned up Krogson with the Skarner stun, they were going to let that bomb expire and they'll be able to get that for free. They did burn their flashes in the process, but as did Monkeys and Krogson, so it was kind of summoners for summoners. But Keely, Krogson had to teleport back because the wave was pushing into him, where Chibs can now walk back to lane. So even though, yes, he died and he didn't get the like ideal base, he's able to base up and then he can always teleport back later once he starts to hit the item spikes he wants to hit.
Now, Diabolus do have their place in the European Masters, at least in the play-in stage, absolutely confirmed here. So they are the ones that are in a more comfortable position overall, but they really do want to get that win of the UKLC because it will give them a group stage spot as well as being champions of the UK, which, you know, just money can't buy that.
And it'd be heartbreaking for them as well because they've had...
That's what I thought. Kalista binded with Skarner. It has been confirmed.
I'm actually smurfing this game.
Yeah, it's apparently also according to Harry, he says that you can pull and then pull back in with the Kalista ultimate.
All right, we need a name for that combo because if it happens this game, which I'm expecting it will at some point.
The Shadow Impale or something like that, you know.
What is it? Impale.
It's Impale and
Fate's Impale.
Fate's Impale.
That
the Fated
terrible.
Impale.
That's so edgy.
That is such an edgy name.
It's like a rogue name in World of Warcraft. As Nolty goes in.
Monkeys, and he gets it, and he smites and stun Dragon Strikes himself out. Oh, that looked funny.
Like an ice cube down a hill.
I don't even know what that was, but it was great.
That was Dog Champ's eye.
Oh, Dog Champ. That was a really nice play. Monkeys is just the king of steals. He's continuing to confirm that.
Every European Masters as well, he gets bigged up as like this stealing monster, and he does it every time.
I know. Oh, Nolty, you're a bit low, mate.
Yeah, Haddo wants to go for the engage. Monkeys is coming in. Predator's already been used. Monk is low. Jumps away. The flag, the drag, not enough. And Haddo is going to go in. The dunk comes out by Monkeys. And now Nolty goes down. A double kill for Monkeys. And Shogun is forced to run away.
Another brilliant prediction by Monkeys in terms of tracking Nolty on the map. Don't know what Nolty was thinking coming down there with about 3rd HP there. And then Monk's positioning like he was actually going to get any work done.
The patented Lulu gank as Croxton gets polymorph chips. Actually, no ultimates, so can't actually follow up here. Double bombs will be available to Croxton. Lands one, forces the flash out.
That was just awful. That wasn't good from Shogun. That was
that was questionable at best.
Monkeys has been dragging Diabolus through this early game right now. 3-0, has every single kill that his team has got. And MnM, actually, Nolty's in a rough one. This has been a rough one for Nolty. He's pretty far behind in CS, behind in experience, and hasn't really had the same kind of impact on the map that Monkeys has had so far.
Chips just looking to push in this wave here. Still has his teleport. Croxton going to get a base off because he does have that advantage with the shove. But Chips can always match if he needs to using that teleport. We haven't talked too much about this top lane here. MnM's got a CS lead over Curve, and he is constantly pressuring him out here.
He's smurfing it. I mean, do you know what? MnM is one of the only players that I hadn't really seen too much of coming into the UKLC, but he's probably one of the players that has impressed me the most.
Yeah.
I think he's been a really top-tier top laner and has constantly impressed me across almost every game that he's played.
He's also shown off a wide champion pool, which has been a really key thing for him. You know, we've seen the likes of the Camille coming out of him. We've seen the Akali right here. He's been a carry-orientated top laner. He's been looking very comfortable. As Nolty does have that Impale available. MnM with the perfect execution. Doesn't look like they're going to pull the trigger.
Yusa and Haddo were trying to freeze this. It looks like it's going to push back now towards MnM. Or at least, oh no, it might stay where it is. They actually managed to balance the waves pretty nicely. But again, you can see Monk and Shogun getting zoned away. They had a bit of a CS lead to work with, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
All right, well that's
Kerberos
jumping in with the perfect execution, jumps out of the cage. Nolty comes in, throws out the Impale. Monk is doing a lot of work. The dunk comes down. Curb is alive, and Nolty is in a dangerous position. Now Chips flashes over the wall, has the Q available. Can Curb get it? It's going to be one. Nolty will go down. Now the Frozen Thrall does so much work. Followed up by the Frozen Tomb. Chips with a double kill. Croxton has to be careful now. Has got one bomb, but this is not going to be able to follow up for too much damage.
You miss a bomb on Zillion, that's it, you're done. That's your team fight over.
What about he can speed himself up?
And speaking of rookies that have impressed me, Chibs as well. That was a really heads-up rotation because his team have just been essentially inting across the map right now, especially Nolty's been struggling quite heavily. But a lot of that's to do with Monkeys just predicting all of these ganks and being on the right place at the right time, which You know, you just can't teach it, kids. You just can't teach it. He's just naturally gifted.
Good understanding. It's Croxton. I thought that bomb was going to hurt him, and then I realized it was his own bomb.
Temporarily switched lanes. I don't think this is permanent.
Yeah. You'd hope not. I mean, they've all got teleport. So...
Yeah, every single person's got teleport.
We're all top laners now.
I guess they can switch at their whim. I think they're quite happy to have Lissandra on the top side of the map, I guess, because of the Infernal Drake coming up, and maybe they want to keep Akali towards the middle side because she does not have her teleport up. Right. That's a lie. She's going top now. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry.
You're a liar. Teleport's available, and Monk is looking to try and find some kind of opening on to this bot lane, but Monk and Shogun definitely playing back. Yusa jumps forward. The piercing like is on. Monk stands in the wrong place. The wild growth is on. The headbutt pulve is down, and Monk will fall. The teleports are going to come through though, and they cannot be cancelled. Chips has to proto belt to safety. The culling does so much work to him. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like Mumus actually might just go for a solo kill. Has got the flash and gets him.
Yeah, you saw that in the picture at the bottom there. Mumus gets the solo kill onto a teleporting Zillion, but you can see now on the top side of the map, also Kerberos making his way over. He's not going to get there in time, but it doesn't matter because the majority of the outcome goes to Diabolus. They wanted that Infernal Drake, and again, instigated by Monkeys. Monk with some int-level positioning, and they give that over to Diabolus, who pick up their second Drake of the game, which is an important one, the Infernal.
Yeah, as you can see, which I didn't notice, was Monk switched out from the barrier, because originally Shogun had heal and Monk had barrier. But no, they've actually switched to the exhaust heal in the bot lane, so...
Looks like it's going to be a quick switcheroo, which gives the man advantage over to MnM on the top side of the map. But for how long? The rest of Diabolus is rotating towards this Rift Herald, and you can see Monkeys is very keen to make this happen ASAP. Kerberos shoves his way over. They go immediately onto Lissandra, who might be forced to ult herself, but instead ults on... Oh, wait, you're doing that. You're doing the play-by-play script. Take over.
Come in. They're going to throw out the ulti. I don't know where we are in the fight. The Rift Herald still in as Monkeys going to get himself a kill onto one. Monkeys gets the dunk down onto Mumus, and you can see Monk chasing onto Haddo here. Fight has gone a little bit awry. Chips has a bomb on top, the flag, the drag, the shutdown. But now Monkeys has spear after spear, and Monk will get the kill onto him with the rend. Haddo low HP, Yusa half HP. Monk is still full and available to fight. Shogun has got the shields, Nulti, no impale available, and now they might just want to go aggressive here. Rift Herald is going to get cooled off, and Monk gets slowed down. The bombs are on top of him, and Yusa is going to pick one up.
I'm glad that you took over there, because I forgot that I was actually covered.
I was like, this is a very hypey passover.
Oh, Kerberos teleports down to the bot lane. That was a crazy little sequence of events, but actually, the end of it, you'd say that MnM came out on top. I think they got a little shutdown. They didn't get any shutdowns. Actually, I think Diabolus came out with more gold because got the shutdown onto Lissandra. But irrespective of that, no one gets the Rift Herald, which is still up and ready to go. Mumus does get down to the bot lane before Kerberos can take the tower, but 3 tower plates going down for that teleport, so that gives a nice bit of gold over to Kerberos.
Does have himself the Hextech Gunblade picked up on Mumus now, while Kerb has got the parts of a Triforce. He's still a little bit away from actually finishing that item.
Rift Herald has been started up here by Monkeys. There's no teleport for Mumus. Up in a short while, Kerberos has just used his teleport too. I wonder if MnM can commit to this. They actually go in, Shogun overextends.
Shogun is getting ruined here. The culling's going to come out. The heal is available, and he is just going to be the sacrificial lamb.
Oh, so many teams do that. XL were doing it all in their series as well, just disrespecting how easy it is to engage on someone that's isolated and split from the team. Yusa really did just pull the trigger with the Blade of the Ruined King there. That was really nice.
They do have that Impale available, but going to hold fire for the moment. Monk just got the Bilgewater Cutlass into the completed Blade of the Ruined King of Yusa. Such a massive deficit here for these bot laners, but Kerb getting engaged onto by Mumus. He uses the perfect execution to chase. Can go in with the second charge as he falls it out. The flash comes down. 1 5-point strike might be enough to slow him. He throws out the Shuriken Flip. Doesn't quite connect. Mumus unable to connect for the full 1v1 kill.
Nope, but he does get the flash. And in the meantime, Diabolus pick up the Rift Herald as well. Having a really good resurgent game 2 here, our Diabolus. And Right now, MnM struggling in this middle portion of the game. Now, Diabolus do need to keep up the pressure because their team composition will eventually fall off. Apart from that split push of the Kerberos, everything else kind of damage-wise will start to drop off compared to MnM, especially with that Akali in tow. You're always going to have to be a little bit worried about that.
It's got a big wave to push in to Kerberos for the moment, so you can step away, play some wards, get some control on the map. So what is the game plan here for Diabolus is the next question. They've got that Rift Herald. They still need to use it. They've got first turret blood in the top lane, so can just use it for another objective. You'd feel like it'd be mid lane as Chips actually throws out a claw to dodge the bombs.
Got another Drake. It's going to be Cloud Drake coming up in about a minute. It looks like MnM are pretty happy to give this one up because Monk and Shogun are more interested in taking this turret than they are rotating down towards that bottom side of the map. And it is just only a Cloud Drake after all. But with Kerberos heading back up there, they might not even get a turret out of this shove, which they'll have to be a little bit careful about.
Yeah, they don't really have the capabilities to get that as the Rift Herald will get used. Here, Hado joins up as well to make sure they're A-OK. Chips uses the Proto Belt early, throws out the claw to dodge away from the rest of the team, but Nulti will be there to make sure this Rift Herald does not secure a turret for Diabolus. Just a bit of damage as Yusa will be able to work away on this bot lane that was being started up earlier. That's the second turret down here.
Look how much damage Monk is taking from Kerberos there. We'll have to start to sustain that back up with the Blade of the Ruined King. But Monk have been having a bit of a rough game so far, actually, compared to Yusa, who is on fire at 3-0-3. Monk is as well. 100% kill participation for Monk is in this game, by the way.
Yeah, Momus actually might just be going very low. The culling not enough to get the kill, though. And this will be a turret finally picked up by Monk. He is going to be building towards that Guinzu's Rage Blade. So, got quite a costly item to finish up. So, every little bit of gold he can get is going to be good for him. Diabolus, meanwhile, want to pick up the pace of the game, and they're going to take themselves a Cloud Drake.
Looks like Nulti hanging around this top side of the map. They're just going to try and go on to Kerberos, who doesn't have the flash, remember. They've got a lot of execute potential. Kerberos now, not many minions to work with Nulti. I'm not really sure.
They've got the Impale. They can use the face cool to pull it back.
Oh, there we go.
It's not enough. And Kerb is like, what happened there?
What happened there? Does it work?
It does work, but it doesn't instantly drag you. It slowly drags you. So I think they thought it'd be a lot quicker.
It drags you at kind of the same speed as you were in the Scanner Ultimate anyway. Have they not tried this before?
I really hope they have, because this is semi-finals, and they're one win up versus the first seed from the UKLC. You probably don't want to be trying stuff out now.
I was expecting that to be like a, oh my god, they both get pulled over, he's isolated him completely, but nope, just appears back at his turret.
He just slowly surfed under his turret to safety.
I don't think they thought that's how it worked either.
I might have to ask some people about this.
Maybe it like got silently changed in a patch at some point, and no one had tested it.
You'd hope. You'd hope that's what happened.
4K gold advantage now over to Diabolus. They are having a stormer of a game.
That was a deep breath. You're like, really, 4K gold lead there.
That's horrible. Never going to do that again.
It's like a ghoul. It was like early weeks when Orcs was doing that high-pitched squeal.
I don't remember that, but I'm sure it was glorious.
Did it on air.
Look how beefy the Maiden is now. Oh, 2,300 HP almost.
She has more HP than Kerberos.
She does.
The Maiden actually is tankier than Kerb.
I think she's actually got less resistances, though. So.
You'd hope so. Otherwise, that's two champions walking around with Kerb.
Jarvan has been a monster in every game that he's played so far in this this UKLC playoffs. He's been really good at just forcing the issue, finding out opposition members. Looks like Nulti's going to potentially face check. He knows something's up. He knows something's up.
Oh, bomb onto Chips. Gets a shield, though, by Shogun, and that still hurts.
Still hurts a lot. You've got Rod of Ages and Ludens finished up for the Zillion now. That's a pretty decent amount of damage, as now Mummus is having to deal with Monkeys on the sidelines here. Monkeys looking to go for the engage on the top side of the map.
It's chunked off his HP. He actually might just go down here. Cataclysm's on. Mummus has to flash away. The headbutt pulve is enough. Mummus sustains the fight for the moment, and Shogun being forced away by Crocs, and bombs don't quite connect, and now MnM just disengage from the fight.
And in the meantime, Kerberos is doing Kerberos and just split pushing that bottom side of the map. Nulti goes in!
Oh, that's the face impale! As they find the damage onto Yusa, forces the flash out. They chase in as Chips gets himself the kill. The shutdown onto Lissandra. Mumus is on the flank though, and he's looking to flatten Monkeys. Crogson's forced the flash. The resurrection will be used, and Halo gets locked down in place. You can see even now Mumus is trying to get more of the flag, the drag, the bombs to zone, and Nolty is chasing. The stun might be enough to connect. It forces the flash out. Mumus gets the speed up from the shrine, and now they continue the chase as Monkeys and Crogson
But
step
Kerberos
away.
at the bottom side of the map's just taking the inhibitor again. Every time you play versus Kerberos, you think you're getting something, but you ain't, because he's split pushing once more.
Monk actually might just go into Crogson. The bombs gonna get dodged. No stun available. That's the rend. That's the shutdown. And Monkeys will just try to stop the base here. Watch the flag. No.
I feel really bad for MnM because it was such a great fight and really well orchestrated, but they still just lose an inhibitor and gain nothing for it bar some kills.
I mean, you're playing into Curb. You can't leave that man alone in the side lane.
Nope, and Kerb's very happy to just do that and split push all the entire time. Diabolus is probably sitting back and saying, well, do you know what? That's actually worth.
They got a lot of shutdowns, though. That's the key thing to watch from that. Chibs got shut down onto Yusa. I believe Monk also got a shutdown as well. Got that Hurricane, so he's actually opting away from the Guinzoos, which we have seen a few times on the Callista. Just wants to get the immediate burst of AoE damage for these team fights.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's got the time to ramp up. He just wants to get the immediate stacks onto as many people as possible just so he can look for an execute and start to reset.
Okay. Also offers him a lot of wave clear,
Yes.
as you can see there.
Really good wave clear.
Leanne.
Awkward position now for MnM though, because the bottom inhibitor being down means that Diabolus have got pressure on that side of the map. And with Baron up, it's the exact area of the map that you want to exert some pressure on.
And Mumus isn't on the likes of a Kayle like he was last game to deal with them. Last time they took an inhibitor from this kind of play, the Kayle just went bot lane with the TP and just cleared waves endlessly. They've sent Chibs bot lane because he has his teleport.
But he's not going to clear waves very quickly.
He's not a Kayle, right? Like, he needs to be there to help follow up the engage.
And it almost feels like MnM have got to wait for a flash to make that same play happen again. I don't think you're going to find many engage opportunities without your flash and Skarner. That's the issue. Maybe when Chibs rotates, but if you rotate with Chibs, you're just giving Kerberos an opportunity once more.
Well, Predator's used. The claw comes out by Chibs. They just look to zone for the moment, but that's a big wave bot lane. Someone has to go deal with that. They might just commit for the turret. The Cloud Drake does get taken down. A claw comes out to zone. The culling lands onto Monk. You can see the shields, and look at Kerberos. Him and Maiden are just making a beeline towards the base here. MnM, a little bit split on what to do. They can use the Fate's Call, try and start this fight up. Nolty jumps in, a headbutt pole lands onto two members. The flag, the drag, the dunk is still not being used. Monk is untouched in the fight though. That's going to be one kill already. A double kill picked up for the Callista. Make that a triple kill, but Kerberos is doing work onto these turrets. Can they actually get back in time? Can they stop him? Shogun is running up the lane. The teleports have come through, and now Chibs is there. Kerberos is trying to end the game. The turrets are down, and he's actually left an open Nexus. Meanwhile, MnM have turned their attention towards this Baron. Monk is going to start it up. Yusa spotted out. Spear does connect onto him for the moment. It's going to take a long time to get this objective down.
Kerb's TPing in. Kerb is TPing in right now.
Looking for that. Chibs also has his teleport. Nolty, very low HP. Teleport's coming through. Maiden's joined up. Shogun now zoning them away. Nolty may just go down. He's still tanking the Baron. The Ren stacks are big. You can see there's no teleport on Mumus yet, and Shogun's been forced away. Nolty may just go down here. The shield is on. They can't do this Baron. Diabolus may just turn it around. The headbutt pole is big. The double bombs from Crogson, and Shogun will just narrowly avoid death, but Yusa takes him down. Chibs is going to get the kill. Diabolus say thank you very much for the Baron leash as they take that in a team fight.
That was so slow. The slowest Baron I think I've ever seen in the UKLC, and they gave it over to Diabolus for free. Diabolus have got an open Nexus. They're just running for the end. There's no one to stop them.
Mumus has to fold some kind of miracle here to stop them. Same with Shogun. They're just running for the Nexus. It looks like Mumus trying to stop this, was unable to. Does have that perfect execution coming up in a second, but the Nexus is going to be the focus, and Diabolus equalize out the series.
Poor game from MnM, honestly. Massive shift, but also got to give huge credit to Monkeys specifically. He absolutely single-handedly won that game for Diabolus throughout that early game. Yes, Kerberos made a great play with the split push, but the entire game was put into a point where that was achievable because of Monkeys' early jungle pressure, his constant counter ganks, his reading Nolty like a book. That for me, was what set this victory up for Diabolus.
I mean, like I said, the Kalista needed to have a strong early, otherwise what we see time and time again is they have a weak early and they just offer nothing. This game is exactly what happened. I mean, Nolty's number was just had by Monkeys. Monkeys just looks so good.
Jarvan's an issue. Jarvan is an issue for a lot of teams that are facing him. Dan made Taxa look awful when he was playing Jarvan, and honestly, the Monkeys did the same to Nolty. Jarvan is just a big issue for teams right now, and I think it either gets heavily prioritized in the draft or you ban it because it's causing real pain for teams that are playing against him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the next picks and bans are going to look like. Diabolus do have side selection for this third and final game. And it's all on the line here. What do MnM want to get their hands on? I mean, I feel like the Cogmore still has to be a ban from Diabolus, but maybe MnM, if they don't feel like they want to take the Jarvan, they need to ban it away.
I think you're probably right. I think if you're not going to take the Jarvan yourself, you can't even give it over to Diabolus because Monkeys and Kerberos play it so well. It's not even like it's just Monkeys that you've got to worry about when you've got a Jarvan on Diabolus. Kerberos plays that pick, but honestly, just the way that Monkeys read the map that game was beautiful. Really was.
And Mumma's had a lot of pressure earlier on in the game on the Akali, but he was never ever fully able to connect.
He would have been much better
kill
on the Kayle, in my opinion. Like,
yes.
It would have given them much more lane pressure as the game went on in the inhibitor lane. It would have given them some invulnerability in team fights, which would have been important. The big, I don't even think MnM had strictly lost that game when they went for the Baron. They probably could have just said, okay, reset, push the bot lane out, wait for the inhibitor respawn.
They should have known when to call it quits.
Yes, they should have known when to call it quits.
If they called it quits, that game could have had another 10 minutes more for them. Even if they lost the Baron, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But the fact they lost the team fight and the Baron just spelled complete disaster. After Kerb had already opened the Nexus, they knew that if they lose Baron or if they lose their team fight, the game was done.
They spent 20 seconds and got like less than 25% of the HP from Baron. They should have just turned around and said, okay, like we're not taking this quickly enough. We need to back off. But they didn't, and they paid for it.
But what this does mean is MnM still have 1 point. Diabolus now have 1 point there. Not all over. So we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we're back, we'll be back with the third game of this series.